today with a good friend of mine, Tony.
How you doing?
Um, we just discussing history, um, scripture, and biblical facts. Thus says scripture, and we're bringing out the true identity of the so-called Negroes. Thus says scripture. Um, Tony, I know you've heard a lot in your life. The African American thing, a person calling themselves two nationalities.
Right. That's true.
Um, Now your input on that, um, doing the slave trade, of my people getting the name change and getting the Christianity pushed up on them. What's your take on that?
Well, my take on it is that you pretty much your names have been tagged by other people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Your nationality. It's like being an African. You're not originally from Africa. You were pushed to Africa.
Okay.
Because of slavery, and when the revolution happened, you were pushed out.
Right.
To Africa.
And
then taken from the Europeans to America.
Right.
A lot of people think of slavery as the Europeans bringing the African people to America.
Right.
That's not the truth.
Right.
Slavery started way before free people.
Right. Right.
It was began by there.
Right.
And they think, oh, that was pretty much the beginning of it.
Right.
No, it wasn't. You were pushed there.
Right.
And then you were traded again to America. You were pushed to Africa.
Right.
You didn't want to be there.
Right.
That was not your land.
That's right.
It was forced to be.
We came running from the Romans.
Absolutely.
When we found refuge there, and we got pushed from Africa.
Absolutely.
That's when the Atlantic slave trade came about.
Absolutely. Egypt, all that area through there, you were pushed down.
Yes.
That is not your homeland.
That's right.
You created and made it your homeland, the
right.
motherland, so to speak.
Right.
So to speak.
Right.
But it is not originally your land to begin with.
Right.
And a lot of people don't understand that.
Right. That's true.
That's not where it originated from.
True.
That's true. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna go off in script. Deuteronomy chapter 28, 15 through 68. Deuteronomy chapter 28. That's prophecy. That was a prophecy that had to be fulfilled. 15 through 68. Now, 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way thereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and thou shalt be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. At that time, where we were on the land, did we need ships or anything like that to get into Egypt?
No, absolutely not. Up until the Europeans brought the slaves over to America, it was all landlocked. There were no need for ships. So all the slave trade and all the migration was done by land.
Right.
It was all landlocked.
Right.
So what that is saying, it's clarifying that the ships were going to be used to be brought to America.
Yes.
Pretty much that's what that's saying, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's
understood.
Because
that would have been the only time.
True.
That ships would have been needed.
True. That is true. That is so true. That is so true.
Because you wouldn't have needed to cross the Red Sea,
right,
to get to Egypt or even bring down to Africa.
Right.
When y'all migrated or were pushed down here.
Right. We're landlocked.
You were landlocked. Absolutely. There were no need for them until the European slave trade.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Now, Egypt. When he was talking about Egypt in Scripture, that was a parable. Father was saying bondage.
Right.
When once we got off the slave ships, that's what my people encountered: bondage, slavery, servitude, and bondage.
Right.
You get people out here that don't understand that Father talks in parables, and when he said Egypt, he was meaning bondage. And another script for that, we can find that in Exodus. In Exodus chapter 20, verse 2, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. He was using parables. He was talking about I'm using America as bondage. Same thing that we experienced, my people, in Egypt. Okay. Now, do you recall that tribe that was born from Africa during the slave trade unto this nation, to America?
believe it was the Judah tribe, right?
Judah.
Judas?
Mm-hmm. It was Judah. Yes, it was. It was tribe Judah. That's 12 tribes of Israel. Correct. Judah was the tribe that got brung over from Africa in the slave trade in 1619. A bunch of people don't understand that if you're a so-called Negro, your nationality is Hebrew Israelite, not African American, two nationalities pushed into one person. Okay, now Scripture tells you, it gives you a whole outlook on who you are and where you come from. Thus says Deuteronomy. Now, another thing that I wanted to bring out. I call it the sleepness. I call it comatose. That's what I use, Tony. I use the word comatose, being sleep. Every day my walk, this is it. Planting the seeds in my people, letting them know whom they are, and for the bulk of it, they have no clue.
They need to be woke, so to speak.
Absolutely.
I understand.
Absolutely.
Understandably.
Absolutely.
Understandably.
They gotta be awoken, and right. A lot of them, a lot of my people, they're in these Christian churches, and they still thinking, that they don't have to keep the laws anymore. They say it's been done away with.
No, you got to keep the laws, the statutes, and the commandments. You got to keep that throughout.
Right.
Otherwise you're lost.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the problem, is that I think a lot of people find that scary, because in order to keep that and follow along with that, you got to do right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's true.
So it gets tossed to the side because I want to do this thing.
Come on.
And this is scaring the hell out of me.
There you go.
See what I mean?
There you go.
And you got to put them together in some way. You don't got to be scared of it.
Right.
You don't got to follow. You can still live in a modern world.
Right.
And keep the commandments in you.
Right.
You can do that.
Right.
You can live in both. You know what I mean?
There you go.
But you got to wake up and you got to follow the commandments. You have to. Your people have to.
And the laws.
Otherwise, you're never going to be unified.
That's right. We got to keep them laws.
You got to keep the law.
No matter what. And I just want to say, I love chopping up the history with you, man, and script, and it's just been a blessing.
Get back to the roots, my brother. Know that we the Hebrews, brother. Yahweh Bashem, no other. Gave the truth to my family and my mother. Waking up, we growing. Wake up, stop snoring. You an Israelite sister, stop whoring. Got your body hanging out, you showing. Huey P and Bobby Seale, they tried it. Got the truth in the earth, can't hide it.